And welcome to our annual installment of Archivism's Roasting on an Open Fire. And indeed, such a hot fire that these suckers are probably just going to be ash by the time I'm done with them. Which, of course, is my cute little way of saying that, yeah, this is going to be another Christmas worth of mostly bargain bin detritus. And indeed, among the detritus is a certain 90s-ism that you would swear I have covered on this show at some point, but no, not really.
And I'll turn around so that your right foot and my right foot move together, and you can easily learn the steps. And we'll repeat each step many times.
But we'll save that one for a little later in the show. So anyway, let's kick things off with a different VHS bargain bin winner. Now, in the past, I have found other tapes on the subject of decorating Christmas trees and just decorating your home for the holidays. But it took until this year for me to find one that I felt was worthy. So anyway, this first video comes to us by way of the guy on the box here. His name is Peter Clark, and allegedly he was this big-time New York City interior decorator during the 60s, 70s, and 80s. According to the intro on this video here, and he may very well have written the copy. But I have not been able to find a thing about this man online, so this may have all just been a big ruse. But nonetheless, as you can probably tell just from this shot here, Peter Clark was, for one, a little wild-eyed, and he was also probably a bit uncomfortable on camera, as you can probably tell from his body language. And I get it, being the dude behind the cardboard box. But at the same time, once we show you some footage here, you'll see that he was probably also a bit obsessive-compulsive. But really, more than anything else, he just had this knack for way over-analyzing and way over-decorating Christmas trees. And over-decorating to the point where you wouldn't even know there was a Christmas tree under there at some point. But anyway, let's get down to business here. Today's first video is the oh-so-imaginatively titled Peter Clark's Christmas Tree Tips from 1987. And I've got a little bit of a conspiracy theory about this tape. This was new old stock when I got it. But at the same time, this thing is pretty badly water damaged. I don't know if it's going to show on camera, but if I can make the light hit it just right, you can probably see it's kind of wrinkled and there's some stains going on. So what I think happened here is that this was given away for free with the purchase of a live Christmas tree. And something happened. Maybe this got strapped to the trunk of the still wet, freshly cut Christmas tree. Or maybe they got the tree home, plopped the tree in the stand with all the preservative-laden water, and they just threw the tape in there too. But yeah, something happened here. But me being the king of the stupid little Christmas miracle, in spite of that, the tape was absolutely perfect. So anyway, let's take a few minutes here and watch Mr. Clark, with the help of some probably unlicensed major label Christmas music, completely cover up some otherwise nice-looking trees.
Christmas time on New York's Fifth Avenue. the hustle and bustle of holiday shoppers, Peter Clark, a professional decorator on Fifth Avenue for over 25 years, tells you how.
Hello, I'm Peter Clark. In this program, I'll be showing you step-by-step various ways of decorating your Christmas tree so that you can get professional-looking results in your own home. Take these trees, for example. These are 3 trees I'll be decorating here in the studio. As you can see, the tree on the left is done in a red and white theme. The one in the middle was designed to have a country look, while the one on the right is decorated with traditional glass ornaments. Will it be live or artificial? That's a matter of personal taste, but I can offer some hints in selecting a tree once you've made that decision. The height of the tree depends on the size of your living room and your pocketbook. If the tree has been tied during shipping, give it a good shake. The branches should fall gracefully into place. Look for a freshly cut tree. Are any of the needles turning brown? Are they dry and brittle? Again, give the tree a good shake. Artificial trees, of course, require no maintenance, and that's a great advantage if you plan to spend some time away from home during the holidays. The panel tree has brush-like branches, which are attached to a center pole and held away from the pole by a notched metal hoop. The tier tree, like this one, is a bit more lifelike and has branches with short needles that stick into a central pole like so. When your tree is shaped, you're ready to begin decorating. First, the lights. I recommend using miniature light sets. Before we begin, though, I'll show you the technique we use to light on a couple of random branches. Always work with the lights plugged in. The wire is wrapped around each individual branch, starting from the base of the branch and working up to the tip, so that there are several on each branch.
With one near the tip. When you reach the end of the branch, tuck the wire under and go to the base of the next branch. We'll show you a few more times in close-up. Wrap, tuck under, and so on, working your way gradually around the tree, one level of branches at a time.
Keep rehearsing until you get the hang of it, until you can see the lights and not the wire. Drape one end of the garland over this peak and drape the garland over that, letting a generous swag of garland fall gracefully between the 2 peaks. Now, of course, this is the most basic way to drape garland on a tree, but I'll show you a few variations as well in case you're feeling confident enough to experiment a bit. Here we have a diagonal drape that goes around the tree in a sort of corkscrew design. Here we've done a zigzag design down the sides of the tree from top to bottom. Here we've alternated peaks with 2 strands of garland, just as we did with the silver garland and the bead chain. Here we've done a crisscross effect, mixing the basic drape with a vertical drape. This is the easy part. There are only a couple of basic rules. Larger ornaments should be hung at the peaks, with smaller ornaments used to fill in. And there you have it. Our 3 trees are completely decorated. But wait, there's more. For the more adventurous among you, I'll take you on a little guided tour through a whole grove of handsomely decorated trees, pointing out the different ideas and techniques that went into the creation of each one. You may want to copy the designs as you see them, or simply use the ideas as a point of departure for creating your own original theme. The only limits to the variations that are possible are the materials you have available to you and your own imagination. For the kids, we've done a teddy bear tree with white bears of all shapes and sizes. The garland is made of wooden beads in red, white, and green. I hope that inspired you to use your imagination and dream up a fantastic tree of your own. I hope this program has helped to make it easier, faster, and most of all, more fun. Merry Christmas.
Let's tackle today's one and only full, proper album. Now, it's pretty well known that I just have a terrible relationship with children's music. I just can't stand the stuff. But at the same time, this album just hit all the right classic archivism buttons. That, and this was the only album I had in the candidate pile this year that wasn't already in the Content ID system, so guess what we're covering. So anyway, let's get the painful one for me out the door here. Santasaurus is coming to town. Quote, a holiday tradition for the new millennium. Unquote. As attributed to no one. And as one might expect, this is from 1999. So yeah, we're heading into Y2K territory for this one. And Santosaurus is a name and I guess basic concept that's been getting used and reused time and again for about the last 30 years now as of my making this. But nobody's ever had a hit with it, and nobody's ever tried to trademark it, I don't think. Not that I can find. But this isn't even the most famous Santosaurus. According to the internet, the closest to famous Santosaurus is a kid's book from 2004. And I was able to find the book, and it seems to just be the basic story of Santa Claus delivering presents on Christmas Eve. Just Santa's a dinosaur now, delivering presents to other dinosaurs. Wish it were deeper than that. So as for this variation of Santosaurus, it's probably even a bit simpler than that. But before I give you the plot here, which you can probably actually deduce just by looking at the cover, I think somebody was trying to launch a franchise here. I think they wanted to do books and music and a movie and stuff all eventually, but they only ever got an album and a kiddie book out the door. And the kiddie book is pretty rare at this point. But fortunately, the original illustrator, or I guess clip art jockey might be more accurate judging from that artwork, the original illustrator posted the whole thing here to YouTube. It's just a slideshow, but it's complete. And if you just search Santosaurus, it should be one of the first hits. Now, the plot of Santosaurus: he is an anthropomorphic dinosaur who really loves Christmas, and he tries and succeeds to cheer up a mildly depressed Santa Claus. Again, you can probably deduce that just by looking at the cover there. Or maybe not. I'm not sure what Santosaurus is looking at, actually. He's kind of staring off in the distance there. But anyway, as it turns out, the album here, given what a threadbare story it is, it's only, at best, an incredibly loose adaptation of the book. Really, only 2 cuts here have anything to do with Santosaurus himself and just the basic story of the book. So, musically, what we're left with here is what kind of sounds like an abandoned stage production. But the music, it's incredibly plastic. Almost everything sounds like it's MIDI, and the vocals are almost all badly substandard, exacerbated by the fact that the instruments are all way overprocessed, but the vocals are all completely raw. No EQ, no reverb, no compression, no nothing. Although I should note, I think the drums on this are real, but again, they are so hideously overprocessed that they may as well have been fake. So anyway, yeah, I suppose I should finish up the story of this would-be franchise, huh? It tanked. It never went anywhere. If the Wayback Machine at archive.org is anything to go by, Santosaurus.com was already a 404 error graveyard by just a few months into the year 2000. Rather amusingly, not too long after, it was resurrected as a gateway to a very dodgy Herbalife vitamin reseller, only to go dormant again. And as of my making this, Santosaurus.com is up for grabs. So if you got the cash and the interest, go for it.
Today we're marching around the square. Drums are tapping out the rhythm there. In Christmas time, we are stepping out in Christmas time. In Christmas time, we are stepping out in Christmas time.
I'm a Santosaurus, I do the jingle bell walk. I'm a Santosaurus, I do the jingle bell walk. If you're big or you're small, you don't have to think twice. Don't have to look far to find something nice. I'm a Santasaurus. I do the jingle bell walk. Okay, here we go again. Ready? Left, right, left, and a jump.
In Christmas Village, the season's in the air. The elves are busy as they prepare. The lights are shining on the Christmas tree. It's time to make a list for all to see. In Christmas Village, the season's in the air, 'cause the time is very near. The sky is bright and very clear. It's very nice to have you here today. Oh, Christmas troll, he was mighty green. Oh, Mr. Troll, some thought it could be mean. Well, on his face, he often wore a frown, 'cause there were no other trolls around. Too bad he often wore a frown. Today is the gift waiting there. When you believe in Christmas time, today is the gift waiting
I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid.
Hey, you just said the magic words and look what you did. And look at the savings in store for you at Toys R Us this Christmas. Get a $5 rebate on a posable My Child doll with the softest skin and the sweetest eyes. And a $3 rebate on My Child's Aprika stroller, just like the real one.
I love it.
And play dress up for less at Toys R Us with Mattel's My Child Party Time fashions.
It's the world's biggest toy store. Let's go.
As I teased at the beginning of today's episode, today's second and final full proper commercially released video is part of a very big 90s fad that you would think I had covered at some point, but no, not really. So with that, let me set this one up appropriately. If you're of a certain age, you probably truly remember a little country tune called Achy Breaky Heart, which somehow became one of the biggest hits of the 90s, regardless of genre. But even more perversely, that song launched this long-running fad of country line dancing. And I mean, this went on for 3 or 4 years. I think it was only killed off by the Macarena. So, if you were around back then, certainly in the short term, if you could get line dancing lessons, it was considered a pretty hot commodity. But better yet, if you could get a videotape lesson out the door on a reasonably priced video, yeah, you were in a position to truly make a hell of a lot of money. And as we all know, a certain mushroom-haired lady by the name of Diane Horner won that sweepstakes. And indeed, she made a whole series of these things. So I'm certainly old enough to remember seeing a lot of the tapes of this series on the shelves at like Media Play and Suncoast and stuff growing up. And I remember the per inquiry ads on TV. And in more recent years, I saw on YouTube the, up until that point, forgotten country hip hop video become internet infamous. But somehow I completely managed to miss, just up until a couple of months ago, that there was a Christmas installment to this series. And here it is. A Country Line Dancing Christmas from 1993. Now, I have almost zero understanding of dance. I cannot dance. I have no interest in dance. But I have worked crew on enough shows with dancing to know that there's usually some sort of, for lack of a better term, compositional connection to the music. You don't get that here. So what we have is Diane Horner just running through some existing line dances up against some public domain Christmas carols, done country style, of course. And this is kind of a weird one. This is a 40-minute tape. Most of it is pretty boring, but at the same time, you almost have to watch the whole thing to understand just how poorly the dances and the tunes go together for the most part. But for everybody's sanity here, I'm only going to present the funny parts of this video, in my opinion at least. But for the more adventurous among you, yeah, I will post this in its entirety to Archive Annex.
For more great country dancing, look for these fine Diane Horner country dance videos. If you like country dancing, you'll love working out to these terrific Diane Horner country fitness titles.
Country line dancing and Christmas really do have a lot in common. They're both about people and sharing, doing things together, and about family. For a long time now, we've been saying you can country line dance to almost any song. Well, this Christmas season, we're going to prove it. We've adapted some classic Christmas carols and songs to help you enjoy a true country Christmas by learning some great new country line dances. Anyone can enjoy country line dancing. Just look at our dancers. Emily is 13 and Don is 62. Mary and Chuck are somewhere in between. As always, we'll start with slow-paced music so you can easily hear the strong, steady beat. And I'll turn around so that your right foot and my right foot move together and you can easily learn the steps. We hope you and your family and your friends enjoy this video. And I hope it brings a little extra fun to your holiday season. So, let's get started. We've been traveling all over the country, and the electric slide is still the most popular dance. So we're going to start with the electric stomp, which is the electric slide with an added stomp. Then we'll practice the step touch, and we'll start with the left foot. Each foot is going to step and touch. Ready? Forward step touch, and then back on the right step touch. Here's the electric stomp. Ready, vine right, step, 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 and touch. Now back 3 steps and touch. Step touch, forward and back. Here's that stomp. Step touch back and step kick and turn. It's vine, and vine, vine. Go, vine. Oh, nice turn. And kick, vine. We'll be doing touches, stepping sideways, and touches, and stepping sideways. And then here's the fun part. We'll do the twist. Pressing your heels each way. Some double heels, double toes, single heels, stomp and fan your toe out and in. The reggae cowboy has some steps that will look familiar, but it also has some new steps. We'll be doing the arrow, step touching, a little variation, and a reggae, crossing and stomping. The TGIF has a signature move, a backward turn while you touch your toe. We'll start touching and stepping first, and then add the backwards turn. Now turn back as you touch your right. Stay there for the touch of the left. If you like, go back to that heel scuff. We hope you enjoyed these dances. We always enjoy dancing with you. And no matter what season it is, we hope it's a great one. Thanks for joining us.
last year I covered a Betamax tape that was made as something of a high-tech Christmas present from an aspiring Los Angeles musician to his parents back home. And on that tape, it is largely the musician doing some holiday gigs at a local mall in Southern California. And I really liked that tape because it was really just more than anything else, a nice little slice of life of America in 1986. Well, this year I've got another amateur tape made at a shopping mall from back in the 80s. But this is kind of in reverse here. So this time around, it's a parent recording their kid's kiddie choir concert, which is just being held at the mall for some reason, but we'll just run with it. So anyway, there's a nice little twist in here in that the parent apparently worked for a local TV station, and he was able to bum the station's Betacam camcorder. So this is going to mark the first ever Betacam tape that I've ever done on this show. So anyway, I could tell immediately there was going to be a certain nostalgic bent for me for this. So it's pretty well known that I was mostly raised in suburban Denver, and that I lived there for many more years after graduating school, and I did the first 6 years or so of Oddity Archive there. So when I got this batch of tapes and I saw the logo on this one, only an old school Denverite would know this, but when I saw that 7 with a circle around it, I knew this came from KMGH TV. And yeah, and I saw the word South Glen Mall on there, like, oh man, this is going to be a trip back. So yeah, it truly was. And so yeah, let's take a little look at Alex's Christmas caroling at the long gone South Glen Mall, which was in kind of borderline Denver, Centennial, Colorado, of course, on Tuesday, December 20th, 1988. And no, I am not considering this to be a stocking stinker. Consider this a little reprieve.
Look at them wave.
Sorry, no problem.
To close things out, I want to play a bit of an ostensibly Christmas tune from an otherwise just everyday album. Now, last year I put out this episode called Oddity Toberfest, which I thought was pretty good, but shock of shocks, an archive episode on polka music did not do very well. And yeah, I don't think you're ever going to see Oddity Toberfest Volume 2, which is a bit of a shame because you'll never get to have any proper segments on people with names like Cletus Gobblersh. And so with that, I want to close things out with a bit of a cut from this particular album from Cletus. Yes, that's his name. And the album is called Our Alpine Bread, and it's credited to the Cletus Gobblersh Band. But unfortunately, there's no useful information anywhere on the J card or on the tape, so I don't know who the members of the band were. There's no songwriting credits. There's really nothing. There's no date. I think this is from the early 80s, judging from the artwork and the style of cassette. But even that could be anyone's guess. So anyway, there is one bit of info on the J card, and that's where this was made. And this was made in that polka haven that is New Ulm, Minnesota. And apparently Cletus is from New Ulm or somewhere nearby. But from what I can gather, to this day, Cletus, who is now well into his 90s, is still roaming around, in and around New Ulm, wielding his B-flat concertina. So, yeah, I gotta respect him for that. And with that, let's close things out here with a bit of a tune called the Christmas Toy Polka, which I can only guess is meant to evoke the mental image of, like, the Island of Misfit Toys doing some sort of Oompa Loompa dance, because otherwise I just don't see a Christmas connection here. But I guess it doesn't really matter, does it? So anyway, aside from that, that is going to be it for today's archive, and really that's going to be more or less it for me for this year. So with that, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, all that good stuff. I'll talk to you again soon.
And a turning vine.